Secret of the Mimic just released, and it honestly might be my favorite FNAF game. I really enjoyed it a lot. However, there are some things I don't like about it, which is what I want to talk about today. My thoughts on Secret of the Mimic. Basically, if you don't know how the game goes, let me give you a rundown. You play as Arnold, a Fazbear technician who has just finished a 36-hour shift, and basically just wants to go home. But now he's been called by dispatch to go to Murray's Costume Manor to get blueprints for the Mimic. Upon arriving, he is given the Data Diver, which has 6 different levels: Basic, Security, Repair, Creator, Admin, and Executive. Throughout the game, you have to survive the Mimic and the various characters it takes on, some being like Jackie and Dolly. Primarily, most of the characters are inhabited by the Mimic. However, there are some that aren't, like Big Top, Tiger Rock, and I'm pretty sure Sleepy Moon. I mean, honestly, I think we can agree that that's not the Mimic. Now, the game has 3 endings. The first one, the most easiest one to get, being the bad ending, where you manage to get the blueprints for the Mimic, and you hand over the Data Diver and go home in your van, where the real dispatch talks to you, revealing that it was the Mimic actually talking to you, pretend to be dispatched the entire night. Then Arnold adjusts his mirror when he sees a red light, and the Mimic suddenly attacks him. You then find yourself inside of what appears to be a prototype Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, inside of a prototype Freddy Fazbear, as there are other prototype animatronics on the stage too. For the parachute.exe ending, you have to select run parachute.exe, which will open a vent in the floor, which you go through, and you make your way through a ventilation system. After you escape from the destroyed Big Top, you make it into the earlier mentioned prototype Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where the Mimic hunts you down, except now it's covered in a lot of different parts of the FNAF 1 animatronics. Now, in this part, you have to place spring lock suits into the areas where the security cameras are shining on in order to drain power from the office so that you can get inside. It's like playing FNAF 1 in reverse, which is really cool, honestly. After we drain all the power from the office, we get inside where we find the Mexus machine, which apparently is inhabited by Fiona, Edwin's wife, who tells us that we need to convince Edwin to repair M2, or else he'll never stop hunting us. Eventually, you end up in Edwin's house, where by entering a code based on David's name, you get to run Cradle.exe, where the Mimic chases you again as the building burns down, as well as you also get chased by failed versions of the Mimic. Eventually, you make it to your van, where the Mimic and the failed versions attack you as your car crashes. Except the Mimic doesn't kill you. Instead, it takes your Data Diver and walks off somewhere into the floor, and it's unsure of what exactly happens to you. The third ending, the secret ending, requires you to get all 25 items in the game, which you use in order to beat Moon.exe, which after finally beating it, which took 40 minutes, you are given the glitched permission. After this, you must run Parachute, and when you get to Edwin's house, you can unlock a door that isn't usually lockable with your normal permissions. You make your way through a vent, which then leads you into David's room. Then, after placing Tiger Rock on a pedestal, the Mimic emerges from the closet, where you have to tell this story correctly, which is being told by Edwin and Fiona, and the Mimic basically fights through being the Mimic and being David in this part. Eventually, David becomes fully in control as it takes Tiger Rock and goes to bed. Okay, now that I've given basically a summary, which took 4 minutes, I did not think it would be that long, I can now finally get into saying my thoughts on the game. So, I'm going to talk about what I liked first, and then I'll get into what I don't like about this game. So, the first thing I really enjoy is how realistic this game it is, I mean, it's a lot different from others because, like, first of all, the game starts off outside, and there's also like we can also hear our Arnold breathing even, and I feel like the story even gets us like feeling sympathetic for the characters. Like, it's actually making us like feel really sad at some moments. I also really like the graphics of the game, and also how the Mimic can like change into many different costumes, which is really cool. What I mean by that is like, if you're somewhere that's like the workshop or the lobby, when it's not like a point in the game where Jackie dresses up as wears the costume of Dolly or Jackie or someone, it's like it can switch me to like many different costumes, and so it's cool trying to like get it to like become like a certain costume. So yeah, I really enjoy that part of it. I just think it's fun seeing on all the different costumes the Mimic takes on. Also, this game runs so much better than Security Breach. It's probably because like the map is a lot smaller, which I kind of like better. It also seems like a lot of the time the map's not loaded in certain areas and it just does load in when you try to open a door. Because like I noticed that like sometimes on the windows it'll just be like PNGs of like the room that's supposed to be like you're looking out into. However, this does mean that like sometimes it does take a while when like opening doors when it loads. I also like how a lot of the characters in this game are like predecessors to the current Fazbear characters. Now it's time for me to say things I don't really like about this game. So, first off, I think one of the most obvious things is Jackie's screen time. I mean, for being the character who's like the main icon of this game, who's been in like every single piece of marketing, only gets at least 10 minutes. Like, in the part where like we fall through the vent with Jackie, I was expecting us to like end up somewhere with Jackie's body, but no, we end up in a completely separate area because the Mimic decides to go somewhere else. This is kind of like what was with Fanny, except kind of worse. I mean, Jackie's not the only character who's had a small amount of screen time this year. Also, I feel like the game itself should be longer because it really takes like 3 hours to beat. Also, maybe there should be a fourth ending, but honestly, I don't really think so. And it's not the greatest for playing because there are things like the puzzles in the game, especially just like this like connecting puzzle where there are way too many of this puzzle, like way too much. There's also some segments that go on for like way too long, like the puppet show, or or that one part in the warehouse where you have to like drag the pieces to make a path that's like an obstacle course. I really do not like this part. It takes so long because you have to do this 3 separate times. Also, we do not need to spend this much time in this one not very important room. Also, I've heard many people say that this feels a lot more like Poppy Playtime than it does FNaF, which I can understand because like I guess like the chase sequence is kind of feels like Poppy Playtime. It just doesn't feel very FNaF, and not exactly in a good way because like FNaF needs to be unique, you know. I mean, we can't go back to like the way it used to be when we were just like sitting in the office and watching cameras and trying to keep the animatronics out. No, now we're just free roaming and all of that, which I don't know. It's starting to feel a lot less like FNaF now. Well, that's all I wanted to say today. I would make it a little longer, but I just need to get this video out soon. Okay. Anyways, I would say I do like Seeker of the Mimic a lot more than I dislike it, because like I said, it is a really good game. Yet there are some things I just don't really like about it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have a fantastic day, everyone. By the way, thanks for 100 subscribers, everyone. The channel's growing a lot faster now because we are now at 106 subscribers, which that was like, I don't know, like 2 days ago when I posted that. Anyways, bye everyone.